You know, today I'm going to share with you some things that I have learned over the past month. And we have something big that's going to be coming to this kitchen. And so I'm going to take you around, kind of point out a few things, and we're going to start to talk about what the changes are going to be and maybe even why we made some of those selections. I'm even going to bring in, if possible, the designer so that he can take a moment and share with you a little bit about what we're going to be doing. And we're going to take a look at some of the selections that we're going to make and why we made the choices that we did. So let's talk about that. This kitchen, love it, love it. When we had the house built, this is the way it looked. And so it's been very functional. I've been able to raise 2 children, carry on with a husband, been able to work, been able to serve family and friends, and it has provided pretty much everything that I needed right here in the kitchen. Now, it's time for a change because after almost 35 years, it's starting to look a little tired. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do new to spruce it up. Welcome to Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard, we love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Now, here in the kitchen is where we are building our strong families one meal at a time. And we're also preparing new homemakers for stepping into the kitchen and doing the things that they have to do. First of all, one of the things, when your kitchen is starting to look tired, you're going to see that it's going to show, particularly in your cabinetry. Now, about 12, 13 years ago, I changed out all the countertops. All of that was new. And I have certainly enjoyed the granite that I have. And my preference, to be quite honest with you, is granite because granite is a solid surface. You know, guys, I can use just about anything in this kitchen. If it accidentally touches this granite, it's good. The only care is I need to wipe it down, clean it up, and at least once a year, I need to put some sealant on it. But other than that, it's easy care. So I like granite. Now, this is where we get into the design phase. All right, the big guy has gotten into the kitchen design. And you know, when that happens, then you have the lady who likes certain things, and it's usually a little more feminine. And then you have the guy who likes certain things, and it usually has just a little more masculine edge to it. Now, we're going to have to be able to bring the two together and see what we come up with. So today we're going to be going countertop shopping, and we're going to be looking at 2 things. I'm going to ask him to search through the granite to see if he can find a particular design in the granite that he likes. Second, we're also going to look at what's called quartzite. And quartzite is almost as sturdy as granite. It's somewhere between granite and pure quartz. And quartz is certainly a good sturdy product, but it has some flaws for me because of the fact that it's in the kitchen. So that's what we're going to talk about. Pitaya granite happened to be the selection that both of us could agree on. It's sturdy, it is beautiful, it is light, and as you see it in the kitchen, uh, you're able to see how attractive it is. Our cabinets are going to be white, and then we'll have to work on a backsplash because we haven't exactly decided on how that's going to look like. But here's just a sample. Now, quartzite is a natural stone just like granite. The difference is with quartzite, it's primarily either gray or white in color, and it can have these swirling veins, which bears a really strong look or resemblance to marble. Now, quartz itself is an engineered stone. It's man-made. And so it's going to be just about any design that you would actually want to look at. Both quartzite and granite are known for their durability because they both go through a metamorphic process. And of course, that's because they're natural stones. Both of them are resistant to wear and tear. And the only thing basically that you need to do is to make sure that it's sealed. Both of them are great for kitchen countertops. And some of the difference that you will notice between the two is going to be the color variation. And that's because granite has a tendency color-wise to blow quartzite right out of the water, because granite comes in many, many, many different colors and designs, whereas quartzite has that tendency to look very similar from slab to slab. Now, you know, it all comes down to the cost. Quartzite is way more expensive than granite, and that's because of the fact that it's rarer. And the scarcity of quartzite and your particular location may also affect the cost, whereas granite is much easier to find. So we're looking probably for your entire kitchen for granite. You can probably get in somewhere under $4,000 to $3,000, depending upon the particular design that you select. Whereas with quartzite, it can run anywhere from $100 to $200 per square foot. So that's going to double to almost triple your cost. Now we're going to talk a little bit about quartzite because most people have heard of granite. It's a natural form of rock. And you know, it tends to have lots of little speckles and designs in it, and it is very sturdy. But now quartzite is just a little bit different. It is still a natural stone. And when it's installed, it has to be sealed. And it has to be resealed at least once or twice a year, just to keep it so that it will not stain. Now, quartzite, once it's sealed, you can do just about anything on it, just like you would with granite, but you have to be careful with stains, things like tomato paste, you know, those kind of things, or cranberry juice, or those kind of things. If it's not sealed, it's going to stain your quartzite. So be careful with that. Now, so grease will stain. So keep it sealed, and it's a nice option. Now, the big guy likes quartzite, and let me tell you why. The big guy likes quartzite because he knows sometimes I have a tendency to drop things. And if you remember the other day in the kitchen, I dropped my rectangular dish. And you know, had this not been a strong, sturdy countertop, I could have chipped it, but I didn't. I didn't chip the countertop, but I certainly chipped the top of my dish. Now, quartzite is so cool in that once your quartzite is sealed, you can just have a damp tile, wipe it down, dry it. It's perfect. And it's, as I said, it's pretty chip resistant. It is also, as long as it's sealed, resistant to acids, which is always good, and actually a top choice for kitchens, which is a great option. And since we're designing the kitchen, that's exactly what we're going to be looking for. Now, here's something about quartzite that I bet you didn't know. Not only is it pretty chip resistant, but it is resistant to heat. And that's a great thing because, you know, I'm here in the kitchen cooking and I'm always sitting things down. So heat is not a problem. Quartzite is tough enough that it is even used sometimes to cut glass. Who knew? Who knew there was any connection between that? It is very durable, and it is a practical choice. Now, the real reason why the big guy loves quartzite is because it has pretty much a white background. Now, not all of it, but very many selections of quartzite that we find in this part of the United States is that it has a very nice white. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of pink, almost beige color to it. And then it has these beautiful gray striations that can run through it. Now, depending upon the granite, depending upon the quartz, you may find that there are a lot of striations, or you may find that there are only a few. And that is something that you are going to have to make the selection for. Now, if you're considering making changes to your kitchen, now this is my suggestion, and this is what we did. We made sure that all of our appliances were brand new. They're all brand new. Everything that's in here is brand new. So at this point, the only thing we need to change is the cabinetry and the countertops. The flooring is new because we're not changing the footprint. So we're not going to have to do anything with that. And we're just going to shop for those cabinets, shop for the countertop, and shop for a business and people to do it. Oh. Now, you know, before you walk into a showroom or a warehouse, you need to have an idea about what you might want. Because once you walk in and there are literally 100 or more different designs and patterns and little touches and little extras, you're going to be overwhelmed. And so I went with pictures in hand. I had an idea as to what I wanted my kitchen to look like. I wanted it to be lighter and brighter. And you know, that's where the big guy and I did our opposite ends, and we were able to bring it together. So, you know, when you're planning a project and you've got someone else that you need to take into consideration, you've got to be able to compromise. So I'm going to compromise on the countertops, and I'm going to let him select the countertops. And he's allowing me, because we've decided on our color that we want for our cabinets, and he's letting me select the design and the pattern of the doors. And I'm good with that. We already knew what types of layouts that we wanted inside of those cabinets. Oh my goodness. You can get just about anything for your kitchen cabinets. They can pull out. They've got soft close. They've got those that already have all the dividers in there for your silverware and tools that you use in the kitchen. There are drawers, and there are different types of drawers that you can also have as a part of your design. You can have your trash and recycle bins put into the design. You can have a place for your cookie sheets and those kind of things. That can be a section, a cabinet, just for those that you can put into your design. And that's where a good designer comes in. And so I'm going to introduce you to our designer and give you an opportunity to meet him, because you want someone. It doesn't have to be a man. Now, I'm not saying it has to be a man, so don't think that. But you just want a person who, number one, that you feel good about. When you can have a conversation, he listens to what you're saying, he remembers and he writes down the things that you're coming in with. Because when I went in, when we went in, I had notes. I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I wanted to change. I knew all of that. And he listened. He showed me some suggestions, and he added to those suggestions. He said, well, since you like this is what you're going to want to consider. And this is option A, and this is option B. Option A being the most expensive, and option B being a little more reasonable. And so those are the kind of things that when you're working through the design that you also have to take into consideration, because you can go crazy. You can spend $50,000, $60,000 in your kitchen just changing out the cabinets and the counters. And I'm not sure you would get all of that back should you have to sell your house. So that's also something that you have to take into consideration. But you know what? When it is all over, you're not going to think about any of that. Now, this is where it can go wrong. I am not a fan of having to go out and make phone calls to try to beg somebody to come in and do the work. And one company that we thought about and we were really leaning toward did most of the work, but what they didn't do was a demolition. And that can be quite crazy, trying to take all of this down and out. So they had a couple of contractors that they were going to send. And we just don't have good luck with contractors. As soon as those contractors come to the door, usually, for some reason or other, just seems to be an issue. And we won't talk about that. But anyway, it wasn't a pleasant ordeal. And so we had to leave. You know, the designer was great. She was wonderful and had a great plan. She listened. She made the changes I wanted. And we worked together. It was when we had to pull in the contractor that things went left. Now, you are going to want a business that is going to handle your project from start to finish. They have their own contractors. They are under their name. When they say they're going to be there on date so-and-so, they're there. When they tell you how many days it's going to be, it's done. And when you leave, you're happy because everything's cleaned up and ready to go. They have the plumber. Now, in the company that we selected, they didn't have an electrician. Well, we weren't too bothered by that because there's not a lot of electrical moving and changing that is going to have to take place. But for some people, it may be. So if that's an issue, ask. Do you have a suggestion of an electrician? If you don't already know an electrician, do you have someone who you might recommend? And that's where you start. So, you know, it's always good to ask and go with a plan of action, because when you don't, you will end up spending far more than what you had planned. Well, we've got our plan. We know where we're going. We know the who, the what, we even know the when, and we even know why we've made the choices that we've made. And so all of those are questions that you want to be able to answer at the end of the day. And we have a visual idea as to what this kitchen is going to look like when it's all over. And so I'm hoping that you're going to stay tuned, because in the next few weeks, there is going to be a change in the kitchen. So, God bless you. I hope you've had a good time. And I hope you're as excited as I am, because like I said, it's been 35 years and I'm ready for a change. So let's get the change going, guys. And I'll see you soon right here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And tune in often so you'll see some of the updates.